everybody and welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Today we're going to be talking about the perennial plants, specifically the evergreen perennial plants. So you know that I love perennial plants. Everything that we have in our garden is perennial plants. I would say like 98% because maybe one or another is an annual plant. But for the most part, I always try to have perennials because the perennial plants, they live all the season. You don't have to worry that you have to buy plants again next year because they're annuals. They only live for a short period of time, and usually they die during the winter, and then you have to replace it back again. Or make sure that you have taken back some seeds from the plants and then have it for the next year so you can replant it, or maybe have to take it back again inside the house because they do not survive the winter. But perennial plants, they're gonna be lasting you all the time. Sometimes they go into dormancy, and so they lose also all their leaves, and those are gonna be the perennial plants that are deciduous. So they lose all the leaves, and so you only see the branches, very naked branches, right? But then when it comes spring back again, then in spring they bloom back again, and then during summer, and then in autumn they change the colors, and then we have it back again in winter, dropping all the leaves, right? But we're not talking about the deciduous, we're talking about the perennial evergreens. So because they're evergreens, they're gonna be green all the time. So even when we have this really tough winter and it has been snowing and all that kind of stuff, so we still have that. Now I'm gonna be talking specifically for the perennial plants for the zone 7. So I live in Maryland, so in Maryland this is the zone 7, and so I'm talking for the plants that are surviving this area. This is the second year in the house, so I'm gonna be showing you the plants that we have in our garden and in our property, and also plants that have been already here, trees that have been already here, right? So let me start sharing. I have a huge list. So you know that I have my little note with all the different plants, and if you want to check more about the plants that we have in the house, all the perennials are deciduous. So I have many lists that I'll share with you guys, and designs of the garden as well. And in there I have shared all the different, multiple flowers. So if you're looking for that, you can check in the garden playlist. In the garden playlist we have all kinds of stuff. Plus in the garden walk there, you can see the progress of how the garden is evolving. Now and I need to share also a new design because I always keep on drawing new designs, and I have a new design as well, so I'll do that later on. So the first one in the list, and this is not in no order or anything of preference, this is just the plants that we have in around the property. The first one is the blue point juniper. So blue point juniper, I love it, and it's in between our property and the property of our neighbor that we love so much. But we planted those in between because they are magnificent trees. They grow in a pyramidal shape. You don't have to worry about cutting them. They have, as the word says, this blue color. So it has a blue to green color, really nice. And then during the fall, it looks even better, that blue color. And it's not like standing out blue color, but it's that blue-green color. And then it's not for you to be touching it all the time because it is a little bit spiky, but it's not super spiky. And you can also cut it for like a topiary, because I know that many people use it as topiaries in the former gardens. But we're gonna just let it grow in a pyramidal shape, and it can grow to 12 feet high to 8 feet wide, which is gonna look amazing. And I'm telling you, all the trees and shrubs that are evergreen perennials that we have in our garden, in our landscaping, and they have been planted in here. Now this is really, really good to have because whenever you have evergreens, they're like the backbones of your garden. So while everything else goes into dormancy, it goes to sleep during the winter and everything just fades away, you still have those magnificent evergreens showing off their beauty, and it gives you that formal garden feel. So you know that I mix the formal garden with the cottage garden, with the edible landscaping, all that kind of stuff. But I do enjoy seeing those backbones, and right now they're tiny, many of them, because this is the second year in the house, so we have planted stuff last year, and we're, you know, slowly reaping the benefits of planting the stuff. But in a few years from now, they're gonna be magnificent and beautifully, it's just gonna be so good. And the benefit of having a big tree like this is that, you know, I'm gonna let it grow, but if you want to have it as a topiary and small, you can cut it and modify it, like if you're doing, you know, one of those bonsai, right? So you cut it to the shape that you want, and it's not gonna grow more than that. So I'm gonna let it grow pretty big, because it can also it's gonna be really good for not only giving you the privacy as a hedge, and also helping you to be a windbreak. So what I mean by a windbreak, and here it's very windy, and not only you're getting the benefit of it's helping you with the soil erosion, so that the soil doesn't keep on breaking and fading away, right? And you're getting flooding, all that kind of stuff. But it also helps you with, maybe it's really windy like it has been in the few past days, so all the flowers and all the little other trees that I have, fruit trees and all that kind of stuff that is close by, it would not break easily with the wind, because I have this beautiful massive tree that is evergreen, that is keeping all its leaves there, helping to protect and screen all the other trees. So it's so good. It's so many benefits, right? But the beauty of the tree is magnificent. It's beautiful. So I love that blue point juniper, and all the ones I'm sharing here is I really love. I never plant something that I do not like, right? So these are really love. So then we had the golden globe, the golden globe arborvitae, also known as the Tuja golden globe. So this one, I love it because it has this like a globe shape, a circular shape, and you don't have to worry about cutting it. I mean, how amazing is that? You just plant the little bush in there, and it just immediately gives you that globe shape. It grows pretty fast. I mean, we got ours last year, tiny little thing, and now it's pretty big. It can grow to the height, oh my god, the height can be 30 inches in height, and then to 30 inches in. So that would be almost 3 feet high, 3 feet wide, or a little bit more. I know that I have seen them a little bit bigger. That's what it said in the description that it was, but I have seen it a little bit bigger. But you know that there's always different varieties. Now the one that we have, the Tuja Golden Globe, and that one I really like that it has the leaves that they look like plastic. Like literally, you touch them and they feel like plastic. They just feel amazing. And then of course that golden color. Who doesn't want to have that in their landscaping? I really love that. It's such a beautiful accent to have. And this is something they're gonna see that I love to have in winter when everything's fading away. I love to have that little pop of color every now and then, right? So while everything is dying, you have in your garden this enjoyment of this yellow gold color. It's so beautiful. I just love it. Okay. Then we have the heavily bamboo Nardina domestica. So the heavily bamboo is, in some states it has been banned because it's very invasive. So what they mean by invasive is that it starts growing to the side, giving you more shoots and more shoots, and it can easily propagate. Plus the birds can actually propagate it also with the little fruits that it gives you, because it gives you this red little fruits, really pretty. But and then the color, just it's every season you have different color, different texture that you're enjoying. So I got this from a person that had multiple divisions. She gave me a division, and I just love it. I try to not have in here stuff that it could be very invasive, so just have to keep an eye on it, cut it back whenever it's grown to the maximum that it should grow, or to the shape that you want it. But I'm gonna be using it as a screening for the electrical boxes that we have next to the house, and just giving that shape like a square box. And during the winter, it keeps a color that changes from red, almost fire, to brownish color, even to purple, depending on how the sun is touching it. So we have one that is almost brown, or brown purple, and then one that is almost, you know, orange red right now. but they're tiny, they're babies. As I say, this is their second year in the house, so I know that in a few years from now they're gonna grow so beautiful and they're gonna look amazing. So I am that one. Every time that I walk by, I'm like, you're so cute, because it's gonna grow so pretty. Okay, so then the next one is the emerald green arborvitae, also known as the Tuya occidentalis. And this emerald green arborvitae, which is a family of that golden globe arborvitae. So all those arborvitae that you're gonna see, they look like plastic. Literally, they look like plastic. They're so good. And I use this emerald green arborvitae a lot for the Christmas decoration. So if you wanted to check how you can use nature in decor, and all the wreaths that I make, all the garland, all that kind of stuff, I use a lot of the branches, the leaves of this emerald green arborvitae, because they just look. I have some in here. Actually, I put some in here also. You see that even when they dry out, and that has been there for months, when they dry out, they don't lose leaves, needles in the floor, because it's not like the spruce, and we're gonna get into that. But they just dry out really perfectly, really cute, and you can still get to enjoy it for a long time. And it grows in this conical shape, sometimes because the branches, just like because of the wind, they blow up a little bit, so they might divide a little bit, but you still are getting that conical shape. So you don't have to worry about cutting it, but you can still use it, as many other people do, as a topiary. So you can cut it and give it the shape that you want. But in our case, we're using it as an anchor and to accentuate the shape of the house. And many of them were already planted in the house. We just added like 4 more. So they're in each corner of the house outside, and they can grow from 15 feet high to 4 feet wide. So it's not that big in the width, 4 feet wide, and then you have really tall trees. So we have it in each corner in the house to give you that accentuation formal garden. Really beautiful. I really love it. I think that was one of the best things that they did when they actually built this house, and we were not here, right? And they put those trees. So thank you to the person that did that, because I really like that. And when we moved in here, we just added a few more in the other corners that were missing, and then we have some in pots that we are also enjoying. So they're amazing. They grow pretty fast. They're really beautiful, and I mean, you're gonna enjoy it in every single season. So the next one is the Norway spruce tree, or Picea abies. So in here, when we moved in here, they also already had in the corner of the house, they already had this Norway spruce trees, and they look amazing. They're like Christmas trees. They're just amazing, but they do grow really big. So I love them. I love them so much. But you can also cut it to the shape that you want. Of course, you can give it the shape that you want, and just make sure that if you keep on cutting the top, then the tree's not gonna keep on growing massively, right? Like as we always say, like a bonsai shape. So anyways, this Norway spruce trees, they can grow to 40 to 60 feet high. That's massive. That's like a building. And to 25 to 30 feet wide. So that's amazing. That's super big. I know that I do cut mine, the branches in the side, and I keep a path in between them because I like to walk in between them like if it was a forest. And there's a lot of them, and I have a playlist of the spruce trees, and I have been sharing with you guys many of the benefits of the spruce trees, a lot of the cone uses, decorations that we do with the spruce trees. We use them a lot for Christmas decor. So you can definitely, if you want to know more about the spruce trees, you can go into there and check. And I have a few videos more that I have on the spruce trees. I promised you guys that I was going to share with you. Not only that we did the video of this how to collect the spruce tree seeds so you can grow your own little Christmas tree, but then I need to show you the progress of the trees. So I'll share that with you guys in the future as well. There's so many projects and so many things I need to share with you guys. I love you so much. But anyways, we have those Norway spruce trees, and they're just amazing. They're just amazing. They smell great. Now they do drop their needles if you were to cut it, right? and use it for decor, they do drop the needles very easily. Just like when you go, like literally, it's like those Christmas trees that you buy and you put it in your living room to enjoy it for Christmas. They drop a lot of the needles, right? So you need to be careful. You have pets, children, stuff like that, that they're not gonna be touching that and put it in their mouth, ingesting it, you know, choking, all that kind of stuff. That's a hazard. So you gotta be careful. Now, if we're having it outside and enjoying it, it's just magnificent. It's just amazing. It's just beautiful. You don't have to worry about dropping the needles because it's gonna be outside. So anyways, then we have our soft touch compact holly, also known as the Ilex crenata soft touch. So this is a really tiny one. It can grow from 2 to 3 feet high and 2 to 3 feet wide. So we have 3 of them in the front of the house in the garden, and it's just for like delineating the pathway where you're supposed to be walking in. So it's like instead of having stones to delineate a pathway, you use those compact holly. And they're really cute. As it tells you the soft touch, is because you can touch them and it's not gonna be hurting you. You have the history of hollies that they're really plastic-like, but they're spiky, but not this soft compact holly. This is gonna be really soft to the touch. You don't have to worry that if you were to step on it, because they're so tiny, that you're gonna be having any spikes on your feet or anything like that. So it's a really nice plant to have. I plan on dividing some in the future. So these are not grown. The ones I'm showing you, they haven't fully grown, but you know, it's gonna go slowly but surely. And they're really beautiful because they last, you know, all year long. And even during the winter, right now we're in winter, super cold, you still can enjoy those plants that are green, and it's a dark green, really pretty. And then we have the winter gem boxwood, which is the Boxus microphylla. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Winter gem. So this winter gem boxwood, there's many kinds of varieties. So when you go and check for a boxwood, make sure that it's the boxwood that you want, because there's so many varieties of boxwood. So the winter gem that we have, it's gonna grow from 3 to 4 feet high, which is not that tall, and 3 to 4 feet wide. And so we're using it in the circle in the middle of the front garden, and it's, you know, to accentuate the circle that we have of the Natchez tree. That's the Natchez white crepe myrtle. So anyways, that over there, it gives you that formal feel, formal garden. I really like the boxwood for delineating and accentuating different areas. So I would love to, in the future, divide many of those boxwoods, not divide, but take by cuttings, and you know, multiply. So I would like to propagate that in the future and have also more delineating throughout the garden, because again, I try to do as much as I can that is going to be cost effective for me. And so the plants that we have in there, you know, surely and slowly they're going to be getting all together, and they're gonna be making then the whole circle. So you don't have to worry about buying a whole bunch, right? But if you have the patience, like I do, but if you don't have the patience and you do have the money and to spend on a whole bunch of them, that you can plant them all together. But make sure, and it all depends of how the size is when you buy it, because if they're fully grown, then you can plant them right next to each other. But if they're not fully grown, then you should keep in mind that they're going to be growing to a maximum of the width to 3 to 5 to 4 feet wide. So you want to then plant it apart 3 to 4 feet wide. Okay, so then we have oh my god, the Italian cypress. The Italian cypress, if you want to have some trees that are going to be evergreens, that are going to be magnificent, they're gonna look spectacular in your garden, is the Italian cypress. This is one of those trees that I always wanted to have an Italian cypress. Like, since we started the whole house hunting, I always, you know, made little drawings of how I wanted my house and all that kind of stuff, but I always had in mind to have Italian cypress in our house, have Italian cypress in the house. But of course, because I am very savvy with how much I spend my money on that kind of stuff, I waited until there's a special, and we got 6 trees in special that at Lowe's, because I love Lowe's so much. But anyways, in Lowe's there was a special. They were like 50% off, and we got then the 6 trees, and they're just amazing. They're just amazing. They're just so beautiful. And right now they're babies because, you know, we planted them last year and we bought it as babies. But they do grow pretty fast, and they grow massively, like super tall. So the Italian cypress, they grow to 40 feet high to 6 feet wide. And in reality, in average, most of them, they grow to 20 feet high, not 20 feet high, to 3 feet wide, which is really tiny. So they don't use that much of a space in the wide, but then the tall, they just look spectacular. And it's a great plant tree to have for accentuating places, like to give it that, like, this is amazing, this is beautiful. I don't know why, but I see those trees and I just think about, oh, so magnificent. And I would love to have a few more in the future around the property, just to give it that feel that I love of like Tuscany, because you do see it a lot in Italy. And just by having those trees, and Justin his family's from Italy, so I think that his grandmother would have been very proud that I love those trees so much. But anyways, we love them so much, and we put some in the driveway. So we have 3 in the driveway, and I would have loved to have also on the other side of the driveway, even. We might put them in the other side of the driveway as well to have that even pathway coming into the driveway. But because the division between our neighbors has cement all the way and electrical wire in the floor, we cannot dig in there. Which, that's a key. Whenever you're gonna be digging something in your house and you're a new homeowner, like we are still, because we're learning so much still, you need to call. In our place is the 811 number, and you call that number, and that's for a free free company that the government just sends to your house to then assess your property. They check then if you have any electrical wire underneath the soil, and you can have all your property assessed and checked for electrical wire, so that before you go digging anything, then, you know, before you break anything, right, while you're digging, then you should call them, because if not, then you can break something that is major, not only for your property but for somebody else's property. So it is important to call that number. So we did call that number before digging in the house, and they told us then that there was some electrical wires passing through there, and also, you know, we have some cement or something that it's really hard in between the neighbor and us, so we cannot put anything in between our driveways. So it will have to be big pots. But I have already a design of what it will be a possibility in the future for, you know, putting big pots in between each of us, and then putting those Italian cypress. Okay, so then the next one is the Sky Pencil Japanese Holly. Another holly. So we just mentioned before the Soft Touch Compact Holly, which were really tiny, and you can just step on it, and you can use it for delineating places because they're so tiny. But here we have the Sky Pencil Japanese Holly, and these are so cute. This is the Eyeless Granata Sky Pencil, just to give you the scientific name. So that, as it tells you, it's like a pencil because it's really thin, and it can grow pretty tall, but it's very thin. So usually you use it for like columns when you want to put it like in front of your house. So we have it right now in pots, and it might change in the future, but probably I'm going to keep it in pots, don't know. So anyways, you can use those for like a column because they're just so tiny. They can grow 6 to 8 feet high to 1 to 1.5 in width. So literally 1 feet 1 feet, but I know that I have read in many other places that it can grow to 3 feet wide. I have not seen it that big, probably like 2 feet wide. So let's put an average 1 to 2.5 in width, right? So it looks super cool because it's evergreen, it's dark green. Literally, this is winter, and everything is, you know, dormant or has died away, and you still see this beautiful dark green that you can enjoy during the winter. This list is so spectacular. I wish I had this list before because I just love reading books and knowing about plants, and especially knowing the plants that, you know, are from your area. But important that whenever you move into a house, right, or in your own house that you have right now, whatever, you need to check about your area. What are the plants that are good for your area? So these are plants that are really good for the zone that I am in, zone 7. But I'm also putting the zones of the plants in the screen, so you can check your zone. That's one of the things that you need to check first. You check what zone I am, which you can just go into Google. Go into Google, put I live in such and such state. What zone am I in? Garden zone, and then it will give you the zone that you live in. So, anyways. Then we have the holly trees. So the holly trees, some people call it bushes because the hollies I'm gonna mention, which is the Nellie Stevens holly or the American holly, but I don't know if I have in here because they were already here. I didn't purchase them, they already were here planted. I don't know if I have the American holly or if I have the English holly. They changed a little bit slightly from the spike that it has, and I know that I have a different one, which I think is the Nellie Stevens holly, because the Nellie Stevens holly, it has more of a round shape in the leaf, and it doesn't have that spikes in between, that spiky shape in the leaf, versus the American holly or the English holly, they do have that spiky shape in the leaf. So I'm putting it in here so you can see it. But the hollies are just spectacular plants to have because they give you this winter interest, because of their evergreen color, and also because they give you this this holly berries that are red color. So this are the ones I'm telling you, the berries are red, but there's also holly trees and holly bushes that give you black berries, a black color berry, not a black berry, but give you a black color berry. So the ones that we have, I love them because they have this green color, which is so beautiful, and they really look like plastic. So the ones that we have in the front, I have cut it to the shape that I want, not more than 5 feet high, and that I might transplant some of them. I already transplanted, I think it was 6 of them that I transplanted because they just put too many one next to each other. It didn't make any sense to have so many right next to each other because you need to keep in account how they're gonna be growing in the future, and they were really overgrown. So I did replace them, and it's gonna look spectacular in the future. And those are in the front of the house. And then in the other side of the house, which is also our property, you can see, and I'm putting it here, how the holly berries, which is the exact same one that we have in our property, cut to 4 to 5 feet high, it can grow to a tree because it is a tree. If you let it grow, it can grow to a tree shape, and they usually grow in a conical shape, so you don't have to worry about giving it shape as a conical shape, right? In there, you're gonna see that the holly bush, it's really big right now, and I think it's like, I would say it's like 12 to 13 feet high right now, but it could grow to 20 to 40 feet high, like massively, if you let it keep on growing and growing and growing. But of course, you can actually train the tree, since, you know, by cutting the top, because these trees, they go into a conical shape, and so you have the main branch, the main trunk, and as long as you cut that main trunk, then you're gonna be having branches coming to the other side, and it's gonna be a little bit more bushy, but you know, you're gonna keep enjoying the tree and having that bush shape that you wanna have, whatever shape you wanna have. Many people use it as a screening shape for like a fence, like a hedge, and you can have it then 4 to 5 feet high and whatever, or you can have it then as a little globe, or you can have it then as a conical shape, a triangle. So you can actually use it as a topiary as well. So it has so many functionalities that you can do, and we can do another video about holly bushes in the future. But it's just amazing. It's amazing, and especially those red berries that you get to enjoy during the winter is just spectacular. Again, color. We have been saying then the blue point juniper with that blue color. We said the golden globe with that golden color, yellow gold color. We said the heavenly bamboo that can go spectacular in different colors from like orange to red to almost purple. And it also has berries. And we also said then the holly bushes that it also has those red berries. So there's a whole bunch of them. We also have the daisy gardenia, also known as the Gardenia jasminoides daisy. So the Gardenia jasminoide is really beautiful because you have this green color during winter, which is spectacular, and they grow to 3 feet high to 2 feet wide, so it's not that big. Now that's another one that I want to divide a lot because they're just so pretty, and you get to enjoy this majestic white flowers that they bloom for such a long time later on. But again, we're talking about how they look spectacular even during the winter. During the winter, you get to enjoy this, this green color, which is so beautiful, and then you get to enjoy it also all year long with this blooming flowers, and they smell amazing. I mean, haven't you got a perfume that smells like gardenia? And they talk about gardenia cream, gardenia this. So imagine you having in your garden a gardenia jasminoide specifically, because they just grow for such a long time, the flowers. So the flowers just bloom a long time, and I just planted this right before this winter, so I have not yet enjoyed my flowers. So I'm looking forward to seeing these flowers blooming in this, late spring to summer, all the way until the beginning of autumn. So it's gonna be so good. And it's gonna smell so beautiful. And you can actually divide them as well. Not divided, you cannot divide it because you have one trunk and that trunk pushes away, so you cannot actually divide it by division. And you can propagate it just like the boxwood by cutting then some of the branches and then putting it in rooting hormone, or putting it then in water, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, right? So we can talk about all of that in the future. But you can propagate it, and that's why I have a plan for propagating it a lot more. So let's see how they go. This is the first year, so let me just let them settle, and then I will propagate it more and have it throughout the garden because it's gonna look so spectacular. And then the last one is the new boxwood. I haven't planted it yet because one trick is, so this video was full of tricks and tips. So one thing that I like to do is I go and buy in plants usually at the end of the season, or I go into Lowe's and I go into the bottom at the end of the hallway that it says sale, and are the plants that they need a little bit of TLC, tender loving care, and I get those and I revive them and all that kind of stuff. And they're gonna be really, really, really cheap. So you get to have, a plant that maybe was $90, you get it then for 90% off, $9, because it looks like it's almost dead, doesn't look beautiful, and you just need to cut all that dead tissue and plant it again, and you're good to go, right? So that's what I usually do. That's why I save a lot of money in my planting, but it does take time. You have to be patient with it. And so for the Green Mountain Boxwood, I just recently got it. So it's the last one, the Green Mountain Boxwood, also known as the Boxwood Green Mountain COPF. So that I got it now at the end of Christmas, because at the end of Christmas, all the items that were Christmassy, they put it on sale. So I got it 75% off. Ooh, super cool. So I got what they had left, and I think that they only have left 5 because everybody took the boxwood. Everybody loves boxwood. So they are so amazing, and this one I really like it because it grows a little bit bigger. So the one that I mentioned before of the boxwood, that was the winter gem boxwood, that grows 3 to 4 feet high, 3 to 4 width in the width, feet width, and this is gonna be 4 to 5 feet high and 2 to 3 feet wide. And this grows more of a conical shape. So if you were to not cut it at all, it would actually give you more of like a little pine tree, you know, like a little conical shape. So super excited. So we got to share a list of all the evergreens that we have in our garden. There's way more evergreens. You can just go on Google and put evergreens and it will give you lots of evergreen plants, that suggestion, which are so beautiful. But the ones that I just shared with you guys are the ones that we have in our garden specifically for the Zone 7. I really love the evergreens because again, they give you that formal feel, they give you that structure, those backbones of your garden. I hope that you found this video useful and practical. I know that I did. I love my plants so much, and you guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next Tuesday. Enjoy the day, enjoy the miracles. You are all amazing. Bye.